Hey, what is mono and diglycerides? Do you know what that is?
Nah, man.
What is this mono and diglycerides? Do you know what that is right here?
If I have to look that, I will die in no week. I have no clue.
Now, this ingredient is actually something that you'll see in a lot of things.
Serve nutritious, Wonder-enriched bread. Wonder helps build strong bodies 12 ways.
Because it's actually replacing the trans fats that these companies used previous to the FDA ban of trans fats.
Real chocolatey taste and chock full of crispy, tasty, toasted almonds.
And now the food industry has found a different way to make a chemical act like a trans fat and still can contain minute amounts of trans fats in them without declaring it on the label. So a product can say 0 trans fats, have monodiglycerides in it, and it still has trans fats.
Bread, ice cream, peanut butter. These are all foods that have been a part of the human diet for centuries, some even for millennia. But none of these foods today, at least in America, are at all the same as they were in the past. They're different in not at all a good way. Because with all things American, it's not enough to do things the old-fashioned way. Bread needs to rise faster. Ice cream needs to be more creamy and less melty. Peanut butter needs to last longer. And most importantly, food makers need to make more profit. So over the last half century, Big Food has figured out a solution to all of those things by adding in a bunch of chemicals that most of us aren't able to pronounce. And there is one ingredient that keeps popping up over and over again, which has, for the most part, gone under the radar.
Whole wheat bread, mono and diglycerides. Deluxe cookies and cream, Kroger's. Mono and diglycerides. Can't believe it's not butter. Mono and diglycerides. Peanut butter. Ooh. Mono and diglycerides. Log cabin syrup. No high fructose corn syrup, but mono and diglycerides.
Man, this stuff's in everything. And it might be making us sick. Recently, I spoke to Kristen Dornick, a cookbook author and founder of Kristen's Kitchen, a food blog that promotes eating real food, to better understand what exactly are mono and diglycerides.
Mono and diglycerides. So it's a common food additive that you can find in breads or drinks or nut butters or different things like that. And it's designed to keep different ingredients like from mixing or I should say from separating, not mixing. And it's derived from seed oils. It's typically derived from seed oils.
Mono and diglycerides, sometimes referred to as monoacrylglycerides, are essentially fats, commonly used as emulsifiers to prevent separation in foods like bakery items, breads, and ice cream, and also crucial for maintaining the texture, consistency, and shelf life of store-bought food. Some of you in the past might have seen this viral video of an ice cream sandwich not melting, even when sitting out in the hot sun for hours.
Now we put an ice cream sandwich out on a little plate, out in the sun. And we're gonna see how long it takes for it to melt. The temperature is 78 degrees. 35 minutes. The scoop of Blue Bunny real vanilla ice cream didn't last too long. The ice cream sandwich, the great value, is still looking like it did when we took it out of the box. So that's at 1 hour exactly. After 1 hour, the ice cream sandwich looks like this on a hot, sunny day.
Wouldn't necessarily mind that on a hot day, but I don't know. Unmeltable ice cream seems eerie. Mono and diglycerides are also quite often extracted from grape seeds through heavy industrial processing at high temperatures, somewhat analogous to the process to extrude seed oils from commonly found ultra-processed foods, which can become contaminated with very small quantities of toxins such as lead, nickel, cadmium, mercury, and arsenic. A European Food Safety Authority review of monoacrylglycerides, E471, concluded that while there is no reason for a safety concern, they also warned that the potential exposure to toxic elements resulting from the consumption of E471 could be substantial, and the need to lower the current maximum limits for arsenic, lead, cadmium, and mercury. I'm good with that because that sounds like a lot of scary substances that we probably do not want in our food. In many cases, these inexpensive man-made fats have replaced the natural and costlier ingredients, lard and butter.
You still see trans fats actually in foods today. Anything that says partially hydrogenated or hydrogenated can have trans fats in them. It's linked to 20,000 heart attacks, 7,000 deaths every single year. And this just continued to be allowed in our food system until the FDA was actually sued to remove this chemical. And now the food industry has found a different way to make a chemical act like a trans fat and still can contain minute amounts of trans fats in them without declaring it on the label.
The FDA requires labeling of trans fats, but only if a food contains more than 0.49 grams per serving and only if it comes from triglycerides. Because mono and diglycerides are not triglycerides, food manufacturers use this as a loophole to use and hide small quantities of trans fats.
There's only small amounts typically in different products, but it does contain small amounts of trans fats. So you could say, oh, well, it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit in your bread. It's just a little bit on your cucumber and your salad. Well, a little bit adds up. If you're having a little bit here and a little bit there and then a little bit and then a little bit, that kind of adds up to a lot of it.
According to Medical News Today, a British online medical news organization, a diet rich in monoglycerides is very likely to be associated with the same long-term risks as triglycerides and trans fats, including heart and circulation conditions. A dramatic increase in the prevalence of inflammatory bowel disease in the Western world over the past 75 years have also sparked additional scrutiny in how emulsifiers impact our gut health. Referring to emulsifiers like mono and diglycerides, Megan Rossi, a research fellow at King's College London and founder of the Gut Health Clinic, says, quote, "If you think about how they combine water and oil together and turn into this kind of soap, emulsifiers are also used in detergents, we think that may make the gut lining more vulnerable to penetration of specific inflammatory microorganisms. In the mice that consumed emulsifiers, the mucus wall that protects their gut was much thinner, which can result in a quote-unquote leaky gut, the passage of bacteria, but also other molecules getting through the lining, causing more inflammation." Scary sounding, I know, but if you know me, I try to be as fair as possible, so the other side of this is that claims such as the one made in this video and by food blogger Kristen Dornick and food activist Vannie Harry have been condemned by some public health organizations promoting science, such as the American Council on Science and Health, who cast such warnings against low-dose chemicalization of food as fear-mongering. They will rightly or wrongly cite the FDA, which classifies mono and diglycerides as generally recognized as safe. Not denying any of that, all that is true, but to perhaps no one's surprise, groups like the American Council on Science and Health are often funded by big food and in practice function as a corporate front masquerading around as a consumer advocacy group. An internal email between a Monsanto executive and his colleague underscores such dynamics. The executive writes, quote, "I can assure you I am not all starry-eyed about ASCH. They have plenty of warts, but," this is on all caps now, "you will not get a better value for your dollar than ACSH." Straight from the horse's mouth. And despite what the term suggests, FDA GRAS certified ingredients only means that the food manufacturers have self-certified the safety of the substances through conclusions drawn by their own studies and their own experts. And 99% of the time, the company's claims are not independently verified by the FDA. It is what most of us would call a loophole in food safety law, created in order to protect the profits of big food rather than to protect the health and safety of consumers. So given that the law isn't designed to protect us, we can A, work to bring awareness and force politicians to change the law, change the system, although often a long and arduous process that could take years, even decades. This has proven to work. Dangerous chemical ingredients like potassium bromate, which have been used in many breads to make it rise faster, is no longer used by most food makers due to public pressure, even though the FDA says it's still safe. California recently passed a law making manufacturers put warning labels on products that contain potassium bromate. Or B, in the meantime, we could try to remove ourselves from the system, take agency in our own lives wherever possible. So today, we're gonna try to do that by baking our own bread.
Okay, so bread, before all this industrialization and commercialization, should only have a few ingredients.
Whole wheat flour.
Some yeast, some salt. I think that's all we need.
Here we go.
Floured up, 1.5 cups. All right, 1 cup.
There you go. All right, yeast is in.
Salt. Boom. All right, there you go. Knead it in. Punch it in. Boom, 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 boom.
All right, time to let this rise.
One thing I have to say is, for anybody watching this who actually bakes, this is like so messed up. That's not bad. It feels good. Just like that, huh? There it is. It's in there. Look at that.
All right, it's time to put this little baby in the oven and see how we do. All right, what do we got? Ooh, it is bread. This loaf is so small. I have to retool it for next time, but let's see how it goes. Not bad, not bad. A little retooling, we got it for next time. I know, baking bread at home, let alone doing something like making ice cream, is perhaps not realistic for everyone. People got jobs, oftentimes multiple jobs, kids, whatever else. But we do our best, whatever tiny actions we can take to reject the broken system that we live in, to claim agency over our lives, is how revolutions begin. And in this case, one loaf at a time, one tiny loaf at a time. That's it for me this week. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you have ideas or actions we can take, however small, to reclaim our future? Comment below. Also, be sure to like this video, share with as many people as you can, hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell. Also, thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.